Liz Watson joins us now. Liz, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's getting close to election time.
It sure is.
Tell me about yourself. Tell me about Liz Watson outside of politics.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a mom. I have two kids, Zach and Lila. They're 8 and 12. They go to my elementary school in Bloomington, 3rd and 6th grader. I am an attorney, and my field has been labor and employment law. I have one husband of 15 years. We just in September celebrated our anniversary. And, you know, I'm somebody who really believes in the promise that hard work ought to pay off. And I'm a 5th generation Hoosier, and until now it's paid off for my family. And I do see that promise that you can climb into the middle class slipping away for a lot of folks across southern Indiana.
Tell me about what shaped you. What was it like growing up in Bloomington for you?
What was it like growing up in Bloomington? It was terrific. You know, I had a great public school, I had a great community, and there was a lot of opportunity that was there, and the opportunity was there because actually my dad was the first in his family to go to college, and he went to IU Bloomington on the GI Bill. And so for my family, we kind of catapulted into the middle class because of that investment that was made. And of course, that's a federal investment. You know, that idea that we invest in creating opportunity in people's lives and help them climb the ladder up into the middle class.
Labor attorney, so you've been dealing with folks, working people your entire career.
So one of the things my dad taught me growing up is, you know, if you work hard, you ought to be able to climb the ladder to the middle class, but when you get there, you don't pull that ladder up after you. You reach out to the next person who works hard and make sure that it's there for them to climb up also. And that's why I ended up being a workers' rights attorney and helping out people who were treated unfairly on the job, helping people get paychecks they were owed, and ultimately had the opportunity to serve as the labor policy director in Congress, fighting for things like living wages and affordable child care and to strengthen collective bargaining rights. But what became very clear to me doing that work that would help so many people here in southern Indiana and across the country if we could get that done, if we could make sure that people who worked hard and played by the rules could get ahead. What became clear to me is our Congress doesn't care at all about those priorities. That's not the priorities of Washington. The priorities of Washington are, you know, to fight for whoever writes the largest campaign check, not for people here in southern Indiana, and I'm sick and tired of that.
Well, I mean, your campaign has gotten a lot of interest because it is literally grassroots. It's the $20 check here, there, people jumping on the bandwagon. Am I correct? Why? What is your message? Why is it resonating with folks?
My message is that people across southern Indiana deserve to be treated fairly. They deserve to get their fair share. They deserve to have affordable health care. They deserve living wages. We deserve strong public schools, and these are things that are worth fighting for. My message is we're getting ripped off, and it's time to have a Congress that actually is accountable to us, the people. It's why I don't take a dime of corporate PAC money in my campaign. And, you know, Trey Hollingsworth has taken the 4th or 5th largest share of donations from the special interest groups, Wall Street and the K Street lobbyists. And 80% of his donations, in fact, come from the corporate PACs. I don't take a dime. And I think that's a really important distinction, because if we're going to send people to Congress who are actually going to fight for us and not for the special interests, not just for, you know, the lobbyists who write their giant campaign checks, then we need to elect people who will make the commitment not to take any of that corporate PAC money and get in there and actually start doing the business of showing up for people in their district. And that's been a major distinction between the two of us. So I've held town halls across the district. I've offered to debate Trey Hollingsworth. I asked him, could we debate in every county in the district? I mean, I think people deserve to know that they have a clear choice in November between a guy who came in from Tennessee to buy our seat in Congress out from under Hoosiers to do favors for himself and his rich dad, and somebody who's a 5th generation Hoosier who just wants to fight for our communities to be able to get ahead. And Trey Hollingsworth has refused to debate me. We've said, you know, at your convenience, on your schedule, wherever you want to see us, we'll be there. He will not show up.
How are you feeling about the campaign? How everything's going? You've got 2 kids now that you also got to be mom at home too, right?
Yeah, it's challenging, you know, but I've been juggling this for a while, and I'll tell you what, I think a lot about the future I want for my two kids who are growing up, and the future I want for all our kids across Southern Indiana, kids and grandkids. We were just talking about you're having grandbabies. That's very important to me, that we are creating a future for our young people that gives them real opportunity. And right now that opportunity is being taken away. So we have so many people who can't afford to fill their prescriptions, who can't afford to go to the doctor. We have so many people who are struggling living paycheck to paycheck, even though, they're working 2 and 3 jobs, working as hard as they can. We've had Indiana leaning harder into the school voucher movement than almost any other state in the nation. And our public schools are under attack. Our teachers are under attack. We need to fight for the hardworking families in Southern Indiana, but, we have elected a representative who's not one of us. He's literally a Tennessean, and he came in here in 2016. He was able to take advantage of this particular moment in time to pay $4.5 million. He paid $3 million. His dad started a super PAC and paid $1.5 million. And buy our seat out from under us, he got onto the Financial Services Committee and proceeded to rip us off. And that's all he's done since he got there. He introduced the payday lending bill for the big banks. He's voted to try to take away the financial safeguards that would prevent another financial crisis. He's in it, and of course his signature accomplishment was the $4.5 million tax cut that he personally got without meeting with Hoosiers First to discuss the tax law in December. And what that has meant is that they've blown a $1.5 trillion hole in our deficit to pay for tax cuts for the 1%. I want tax cuts for middle class and working class people and small businesses, people who could really use that opportunity to be able to get ahead. We all know that the trickle-down economics theory hasn't worked and it never will, but Trey Hollingsworth would just like to see what else he can get out of another term in Congress. And that's not what a position in Congress is for. The idea isn't go in there and stick your hand in the cookie jar and see how much money you can pull out for yourself. The idea is go in and serve the people in your district and try to help hardworking people make a better life for themselves and their families and our communities.
Liz, best of luck to you on November 6th.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.